I love old expired listings. Most agents understand that if you want to be a great listing agent, learning the skill of listing expired property is one of the best ways to start yourself on that journey. There are very few top producing listing agents that have not gotten there by involving expireds in some form or fashion. With that being said, a lot of agents give up too fast on the scale of expired listings because they don't have a strategy or a game plan. They're simply calling them and guessing each day. And that gets old fast, especially with the amount of rejection that comes in the expired. So I think all agents know if you want to tackle expired, it's a good idea to call the new ones each day. I think that part's pretty obvious. What I think is a little bit misunderstood is the role of the older expired listings. I'm talking 3, 6, 9 months, a year, 2, 3 year old listings. There are many reasons why I like these. I'm going to get into 4 reasons here on this video. If you want to get some of my content on a little more of the strategy, the prospecting, the live presentation, I have some other videos there that will help you. Just drop a comment below and I'm happy to send that over. But I wanted to share a little strategy here on why we're calling old expireds and why it's a good idea for you to add those into your business. So the first thing I wrote down is they're a little more likely to talk. Unless you're the first or second person calling a new expired, odds are they're going to hang up on you. They're going to be very frustrated because there's so many people calling when it's a new expired. When the home's been off the market 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, the intensity of the agent calls slows down. Their phone's not ringing every 2 seconds with an agent. So now, depending on what time of day you catch them, they're going to be more apt to talk versus those first couple days when their phone's ringing off the hook. So that's one of the main reasons I love old expireds. 2, the second thing I wrote down, you have a clearer path to their motivation. You know, as someone that's been calling expireds over 10 years, one thing that I've realized is when a property first comes off the market, a lot of times the owner is a little bit confused, a little bit unclear on what they want to do. A lot of times they may be shocked the home didn't sell, or they may be someone that was just kind of testing the waters and not really sure they wanted to sell to begin with. Right? So when you ask them motivation questions on that new expired, sometimes they're not clear, or sometimes they say an answer that's not really aligned or part of their long-term goals just because they're still confused. When a home's been off the market for some time and you ask them where they're planning on moving or a motivational question, you're more likely to get the truth. The seller has had some time to really step back and think about if this is something they want to do. And if it is something they want to do, they oftentimes make that decision and don't immediately jump back on the market. It's something they think about. Yes, they know they want to move, but they're not quite sure of the timing. So now when you call them and you're talking about motivation and it becomes clear that they do want to sell, there's not as much competition. They're not necessarily interviewing multiple agents, which is my third reason I love these old expireds. The new expireds, a lot of times if they're sure they want to get back on and they're getting 10, 20 calls, they're going to interview 4, 5, 6 agents. Because there's a lot of highly skilled agents that are calling these expireds. So when you are calling the new ones, you have a lot of competition now as an agent. You're competing with a lot of others, where if you call the older expireds, oftentimes if you catch them in a position where they're motivated, now there's not as much competition when you go ahead and set that appointment. If you present great, sound logical, have a good plan, they're not necessarily going to interview. Could it happen? Sure, but it is less likely because their phone is not ringing as much because it's been off the market a while. The fourth thing is there is an endless supply of old expired listings. This is a timing thing. If they were on the market once, there's one thing that I've learned from doing this. If someone has had it bubble up that they want to sell or is thinking about selling, oftentimes that bubble doesn't just go away. Maybe they had life circumstance, maybe something happened that temporarily changed their mind, but if it bubbled once, it's going to keep bubbling. And when you keep in touch with these older expireds, homes that have not been relisted, odds are you're going to catch somebody that the bubbling is coming at the right time and they're actually ready to list. And you've re-spurred that motivation by your call, or you've given them the sign that it may be time for them to take that first step. Maybe their life has been busy, and when you call, it's a sign that they should stop what they're doing and at least meet with you. So this is an end list. If you have agents on my team, we provide the lists, we provide the opportunities for that data. If you have a system for getting older expired leads, it should definitely be part of your daily routine. Call the new ones first because they're new, and then work those older expired listings. There is no better lead source besides your database than the older expireds, the new FSBO, and the new expireds. This should be part of your daily routine. If you don't have any listing appointments, you should be doing this all day long. If you're a full-time real estate agent, you can't help but accidentally find a listing appointment if you are calling these consistently and improving on your skills. You're doing it with intention, with belief, and you're actually practicing and working on your skills. If you're having trouble and it's not lining up, this is a great time to get a mentor or a coach to help you. It's a numbers game. If you're making the calls each day and it's not clicking, there's something missing in terms of the questions you're asking, your ability to show that you're listening to the prospect, and the skills that you're presenting. So I'm not going to get into that on this video. If you would like to see content more specific on what to say or what a presentation looks like, drop a comment below. But for now, if you've made it this far, that tells me you're motivated to taking new listings. Put the old expireds into your daily routine. You can thank me later.